How many of these 48 homeschool memes can you relate to? Firstly, second breakfast. I still do that. I had my second breakfast this morning, actually. Although it's hard to tell if second breakfast is official or if it's more just of a grazing thing. And I'm not going to read all these memes to you. Feel free to read them as I talk. And if I'm talking too fast or going too fast, just pause me. Doing school in the car or other places while your mom runs errands and takes you with her, because where else are you going to be? Or maybe doing school more like in the van. We had a van, although it wasn't a 15 passenger, it was a Ford Aerostar blue. Or maybe if you're lucky, instead of just a regular van, you have a Rebel homeschooler van, one with big tires, 4x4 raised suspension. I've seen some of those and ogled them a little bit, although still haven't gotten one yet. You probably had or have at least 3 siblings. And feel free to tell me in the comments how many of these you can relate to, what your experiences are like, how many siblings did you have or do you have, what did your family drive or what does your family drive. Basically waiting when your mom isn't ready to help you with school because your schedule revolves around your mom's schedule. If you have younger siblings, that probably looks like her helping them more than you. I was the oldest of 4 boys, so I definitely remember that. Everything is different in homeschooling. For instance, recess, not recess. Projects, not projects. Field trips, not field trips. Maybe field trips are a little bit different if dad takes you. Did your dad take you on any field trips? Were those ones different? School holidays, not exactly school holidays. Vacation, not vacations. But when you did go to fun places for vacation, you probably didn't have to stand in line because you probably went when all the other kids were in school. I totally remember that. Maybe Disneyland, for instance, or Legoland, which of course is totally educational and a great place to go for a homeschool field trip. Or if you got really lucky, maybe you just went to the library a lot. Maybe if you really liked books, that would be regarded as lucky. How about you? Tell me in the comments what were the weirdest or best places you went for field trips and vacations. Regardless of where you went, though, if you ever saw other homeschoolers out and about, or you suspected that another family was homeschooled, it's usually pretty easy to tell. Maybe you were kind of like this. It's like you're instant best friends because you're so rare and you're so weird, except you probably didn't actually say anything because, as homeschoolers, of course, we were never socialized, so we're mostly just big struggles when it comes to socially, so we probably just stared at each other. Ha ha ha. Okay, hopefully I'm joking with that. Mostly joking with that. Listening to Adventures in Odyssey on vacation. Or if you grew up when I did, you were homeschooled back in the 80s and 90s, it was probably more like on cassette. I totally got Odyssey cassette tapes. Or maybe Lord of the Rings, which was a little after my time. Or maybe that's what you did like all summer long, just watching Lord of the Rings over and over again. Or maybe it was Mario Kart. I think this is the weirdest meme that I've seen, by the way. Or maybe it was something a little tamer, Little House on the Prairie. Why couldn't that qualify as homeschool curriculum? You basically are the Little House on the Prairie family, right? But other than those things, you probably grew up with huge culture gaps, or maybe you are growing up with huge culture gaps, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. I have big culture gaps, and I am really proud of that because I spent my time doing other cool things like learning Egyptian hieroglyphs. All right, so let's see. If you weren't allowed to watch a lot of TV and movies, which was the case with me for sure, or you just weren't you're only allowed so much screen time, you probably spent a lot of time building forts and maybe doing stuff outside, like digging holes and trenches in the garden. I totally remember doing that. In fact, I even remember digging a big hole under our neighbor's fence so that we could sneak into his yard. That did happen. this is a great meme. You can pause it if you want to read it all, but what I wanted to point out here is the bottom right. Homeschool, what I really do, there's a chair, there are tons of books. You may have spent a lot of time reading, like spent most of your time reading, honestly. I can definitely relate to that. And cheers to all the homeschooling moms who basically just let your kids read their favorite books instead of doing school. You are the real MVP there. How about you? What kind of audio or book series did you binge on as a homeschooler, or are you binging on? What kinds of crazy things do you do outside? Here's another one. The average homeschooled child has no problem socializing with other children as long as he or she remembers to use smaller words and shorter sentences. Did you ever learn a big word from reading and then like casually drop it in a sentence only to have someone correct you because you said it wrong? I totally did that. Can you remember what those words were? If so, feel free to share those in the comments. Your mom probably sells essential oils, or if she doesn't, then your friend's mom does for sure. And they probably all use them like all the time for everything, along with coconut oil and breast milk. Here's a homeschool starter pack for you. You can see the essential oils, which are really quite essential, which is why they call them essential oils. I grew up in Canada, so Chick-fil-A wasn't a thing. Tell me in the comments if it was or is for you. I don't know if this is just a reference to the guy's hat or if that's some show that I never saw because I had culture gaps, not only being homeschooled but being a Canadian and homeschooled. Or maybe it's just the way he's wearing it with that like big curve. If so, then that totally counts. I think you also need to be wearing camo pants that maybe have holes in the knees and are a little too short for you. That's important. And then Doctor Who, man, I didn't grow up watching that either, so I'm going to have to check that out. So tell me if that was a thing for you. The checkout lady asks why you're not in school. I literally remember having this happen, especially when you're homeschooled in Saskatchewan, Canada in the 80s, and everybody's like, is that even legal? When somebody asks your homeschooled child what grade they're in, and they give them that look, I've totally had that happen too with my kids. They're literally not exactly sure. Why? Because it's complicated. And then, of course, there's the dreaded question, what high school did you go to? For me, the only time I went to high school was for driver's ed. And, yeah, that was a memorable experience for sure. Making fun of the school bus when it goes by. I honestly don't remember doing this, but if you did, tell me in the comments. Definitely this feeling, though. This is our land, homeschooling, and that shadowy place over there is public school. Definitely that feeling, because public school really is the dark side. I think we all know that. And speaking of the dark side, how many of you watched your parents battle over certain holidays like Halloween, for instance? Maybe you stayed home with the curtains drawn on Halloween. I remember that. Also, especially if you're Messianic, there were probably battles about Christmas and Easter, or just trying to navigate those seasons of the year with family and friends. How about devotions? Did you guys have family devotions or worship times? What did that look like? I remember sitting around the table in the morning, having our breakfast, which was usually oatmeal or cream of wheat or Red River cereal or some kind of porridge. And we were allowed to have some sweet cereal in it for texture and taste. And we'd end up building little buildings with our shreddies and then populating them with our little vitamin guys and things, while my dad was trying to lead us in devotions. Okay, but yeah, so devotions can sometimes be a struggle. Which reminds me, if family devotions are a struggle for you, try using the God of Abraham hymnal for your family worship times. It's something that our family does. It's beginner friendly. It even comes with the audios, so you can sing along karaoke style. It really is like the complete family devotions package. The link to it is ourhymnal.com. I'll put that in the video description, and hopefully that'll be useful to you in your family worship times if they are a struggle. So I really hope that these memes made you laugh and feel great, even better about homeschooling. If I missed any, definitely let me know in the comments. Share your relatable homeschooling experience, and then upvote your favorites by giving them a like. Let's see whose homeschooling experiences make us laugh the most. And if you enjoyed this video, hopefully you'll give it a like, you'll subscribe to our channel, and you'll share this video with somebody who would think that it's funny, or maybe share it with somebody who wouldn't think that it's funny. That could be funny too, actually. This was actually the first of 6 videos packed with homeschool memes. In the next one, we are going to be looking at some of the best and the worst things about being homeschooled. Join me for that.